Okay, y'all, this is take two. Again, I told y'all we're gonna get this whole YouTube thing down packed. But today, the purpose of this video is to tell my coming out story because dun, 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 today is National Coming Out Day. So, why not on this special, most perfect day, tell my story? Now, this is important to me because I don't like telling my business. I don't like people in my business. But hey, I'd rather help someone than no one. So, let's get right into it. I'm going to start with my most, I'm not going to say recent, but this is the most effective relationship that helped me to get out. And that was in 2009. I was on a dating website. Well, let's start over. I always known that I liked women. Like, even when I tried to date guys, it just was like oil and water. Like, don't touch me, my nigga. Like, I wasn't a fan of guys at all. Never said that I never had interactions with them. I didn't like it. It just made me very uncomfortable. It might have been because of what I've went through with like guys and men and this past situations that I've been in or been placed in that I'm not gonna, of course, not gonna get into in this video because who got film for that? But yeah, we're gonna start in 2009 when I met this girl on a dating website. We didn't like get right into each other right then and there because I was trying to like play it smooth. I don't know what I was doing. I was trying to play it smooth so I wasn't responding to her right away. I would take some time to respond to her, and she was just like straightforward, like first day just wanted to meet me, and I'm like, yeah, no, I'm scared. So we didn't do that. Eventually, after me procrastinating and doing what I thought was running game, we actually met up, and we met up in like this little place behind where I used to live. I called it like it's like a little garden, so we used to call it a little garden. Like, I'd be like, okay, meet me at the garden, because I didn't want her in my house right away. Sorry, y'all. I didn't want her in my house right away because I wasn't okay with who I was, if that makes sense. Like, I didn't want my parents asking questions like, oh, that's a new friend. Oh, she in your class. She's older than me, graduated way before me. And I wasn't ready for those questions. So we would always meet around my house. Or we would go other places, or I would go to a town where she lived. It wasn't in the same town as where I live. It wasn't that far, but it wasn't the same town. I would go visit her. My friends in high school, they were like good friends in high school. We're not friends now. I'm really cool with one of them, but the other ones, yeah, cynosis. But they, covered for me really well in high school. One of them was in the same community as us, the LGBTQ community. And he was kind of like looking out for me. Like, I told him that I wasn't comfortable telling my mom that, hey, I'm kind of talking to this girl. Or I like girls, period, even though I feel like my mom knew. But anyways, he was like, okay, we'll just tell your mother that she's my cousin. So I'm like, yo, you're a genius. So that's what we went with. We went with that for a good number of months. The girl, I don't think she knew that we were kind of like hiding her, in a sense. Maybe she did. But yeah, so we hid her as well as we possibly could have, until the affection between the two of us was just like really evident. Like, it was very obvious. One day my mom went to church, and I finally let her in my house, and we were sitting in the living room. Now, mind you, I was trying to have like a little bit of respect. I didn't take her upstairs to my bedroom. We were in the living room the whole entire time. My older sister was in the house, so it wasn't like we were completely alone, but we were alone because she really paid attention. So yeah, we were downstairs in my living room watching TV and fondling, kissed, back door open, boom. it was kind of awkward because I know they had saw like us like kind of jump apart from each other. I, I know my mom did because she was just waiting to out me. So what happened after that? Okay, so she's still thinking like, okay, this is such and such cousin, blah 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 blah. The girl started eventually spending the night. Every time she came over, my mom's like, text my phone, Nikki, to keep the door open. And I'm like, why is she cop locking so hard? But I ain't say it because it's your house, sis, so I'm gonna leave your door open. We left the door open a couple of times, and then I just got tired of it. Like, the rebel in me was just like, I'm closing this door. Because anytime anybody else come over, I close the door and you don't have anything to say. But now, because she coming over, you want me to close the door. So I started closing the door, and it caused friction between us. And she was like, I keep telling you, keep that door open in my house, blah, blah, blah. And me, I'm just like, she just want to have control. Like, it's not about you right now. So, whatever, I kept closing the door. Then she proceeds to get my father involved, and he's like, your mother don't like you with the door closed. And my dad's not confrontational. He's just always trying to appease the women in his house. So, one day my mom called me upstairs in her room, and mind you, I'm not really feeling her, so I'm not really off her. So I go upstairs to her room, and I already got the like, you want face on. So she's like, is there something you want to tell me? And mind you, my dad is up there, so I'm comfortable. And he's just sitting on the bed trying so hard not to look at me, because I guess he didn't want me to think like, oh, I'm not with her. I'm not standing behind her with this. But I already knew. I had told my mom's sister, you know, that I like women or whatever, and I didn't know if she had told my mom or what. Which she probably did, but I really didn't care. My purpose for telling her was so that she could tell for me. And it happened, and my mom's like, is this something you want to tell me? And I'm just looking at her like, is this something you want to tell me, that I'm adopted? Like, what? So she's like, you know what I'm talking about. And I'm thinking to myself, like, if you already know what this conversation about, why are you starting like the TV? Like, is it something you want to tell me? Don't do that, sis. Don't make it awkward for me. Just ask what you need to know, or what you want to know. So eventually we got into it about me liking girls or whatever, and she did this whole thing about it being a sin and blah blah blah. Shit that I already know. So I'm just looking at her all dumbfounded. And you know, y'all, I'm very, very smart. Like, I'm like a tit for tat person. But because she's my mother, I didn't do it. But I was thinking to myself, like, sis, like, no sin is greater than the other. Like, come on now. You weren't married when you had me and my siblings. The whole world probably wasn't married when they had kids. And I'm just like, yo, like, but this is what I guess church people do. And I'm saying church people because, you know, it's that same typical, you know, African-American story, or the African-American family who has the one little black sheep. And I was the one little black sheep. And I'm fine with it. But yeah, so it kind of forced a wedge between me and my mom because she wasn't accepting of it. And I really wasn't trying to turn my life around for her. So it was whatever. I just started going over to the girls' house, and that was that. Like, it ended that. And I would come, let me tell y'all, I would come home late because I told y'all the girl lived in a different town. I would come home late, and that became an issue with my mother. Like, you need to be in the house at a certain time. Like, nigga, like, you're always on my back for no reason. Like, leave me alone. Just leave me alone. And so yeah, me and a girl dated. It was very short-winded. Like, it wasn't a long-term relationship. It's like a year. And then I got bored with her, or maybe I just became so confident in who I was becoming. I just wanted to see other women. I just wanted to experiment, because the girl was older than me and, you know, ready for marriage and talking about kids and stuff. And I wasn't there with sis. I'm sorry. So yeah, when I got to college, I went to college in a different state, and that just was like my outlet. Like, I'm leaving this girl, like. And whenever we had Blackberries, y'all, whenever she would BBM me and I didn't BBM her right away, it was always like, oh, who you with? You cheating about? My nigga, like, I just got to college. I'm trying to, you know, find my way. I'm trying to find the library and see what time it stay open. Like, you know, stupid stuff like that. But it was very hard for me because my mom and I's relationship was terrible. Like, it was a certain point in my life where I hated my mother because my mom's the type of person, like, when you do something wrong or she feel like the church have something involved or how they would depict you or how they look at you, she would, kind of protect us from being targeted by church members, and which I really didn't effing care. So she wanted us to kind of be perfect, which we are not going to be or ever going to be. She was standing like in the vicinity of where my bedroom was, and I heard her on the phone with somebody, and y'all, she was going in on me. Like, going completely in on me, like, and you knew I was in there. So I heard some of the stuff she was saying. I'm like, wow, that's how she really feel about me. Like, I hate her. And that was just a time in my life where I was just like, yeah, I don't have a mother. And it's just like, my mom was hurt because of the decisions that I made. And because she was hurt, I guess she felt it equally to hurt me back. But whatever was going through her head, she prayed to God and got over it. And the same girl that I was dealing with when I went to college, the girl was spending the night at my house, taking naps in my mother's bed. They were becoming like this. Sad part about it is, Ma, you getting like this with her, and I'm about to be like this with her. So whatever, when I came back from my freshman year of college, I came in, stayed with my girlfriend at the time, and it just was bad, y'all. Like, we was fighting so much. Like, I really hated this girl. Like, I never wanted to be around her. And I was living with her. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to stay at my parents' house. Like, I'd rather go home with that than to be here with you. And that's when I knew it was bad. So I'm like, yeah, it's a dub for her. Like, she got to go. So I'm not happy that I cheated on her, but it's like, yo, it relieved me. Like, I got out of it. So yeah, I do regret cheating on her because it's not right, y'all. Cheating is not right. You need to just use your words. And I wasn't strong enough to do that. So, karma gonna get me, or she might have already, but whatever. So I started dating someone else after her. Y'all, let me tell you, I took a whole year off of college to try to appease that girl too. And I'm just like, it's still not working. So I just left it alone. And I started talking to another girl online, and she was in North Carolina, where I went to school. That's how I got to that school, to be with her. It wasn't for education, but I did miss school. So I'm like, yo, this is a 2-in-1 deal. Like, I'm going. I can be with this girl and still go to school. Like, I'm here for it. So she and I dated for some time, and that was toxic too. We just weren't for each other. But now we're like mutually cool with each other. Like, but it took me a minute to get over her because she broke up with me, y'all. Little bastard. Excuse me. But yeah, it was mutually agreed upon in the end. Like, it's cool. I'd rather just have us as friends because we're better as friends. So I was single for a good 2 years, 3 years, however you want to call it, and that's when I met my lovely, beautiful wife. And I was with her for 3 years, and we're still together. We're married, and I'm happy. And my whole entire family, thank you, Jesus, loves her. And my mom's family. I'm going to get into my dad's family at another time with y'all. But my mom's family, they're just like, they perfect. They treat her as a human being and not as a disease-filled, rainbow-loving, yeah. They treat her equally, and they love her. So, I'm blessed about that. There are times where I did try to commit suicide, and I just thought that it was easier, which would have made it harder for the people who love me and actually care. Sometimes all you have to do is open up your mouth when you're, facing discomfort. So, yeah, that's my story. And you guys, I'm going to leave the suicide prevention hotline number in the description box because, in our society today, everybody needs it. So this is my coming out story. So please like and subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your